these signs could indicate you're about to have a heat stroke. The dog days of summer are good for lazing by the pool but not so good for your long runs and weekend hikes. When temperatures and humidity levels soar, you're at an increased risk of heat exhaustion or worse, heat stroke. It's not just a concern for the elderly, either. Earlier this month, a 31-year-old South Carolina man died of heat-related problems, reports Live 5 News. Yikes! Heat stroke is a life-threatening issue, says Douglas Kupis, MD, an emergency physician at Geisinger Health System. Conditions like high blood pressure, thyroid disease, or diabetes can put you at a higher risk of suffering from this condition, and other issues like eating disorders, a high BMI, and taking medications with stimulants can also contribute. The more risk factors you have, the less exertion and the less heat it takes, says Kupis. Scorching summer temps don't guarantee you'll have a heat stroke, but the closer the outside temperature gets to your body temperature, the higher your risk is, says Kupis. That means it's a good idea to take your workout to an air-conditioned gym when the thermometer reads high 90s or 100s. Bonus, the cool air will make your sweat sesh feel a hell of a lot easier. The good news is that there are things you can do to prevent a full-blown emergency. Epically, someone doesn't just have heat stroke strike them out of the clear blue in a matter of minutes, says Kupis. They would have heat warning signs before they get to heat stroke. Here are some of those signs. 1. Your body temp soars. Heat stroke is on the most severe end of the spectrum of heat-related illnesses. Generally, people suffering from old-fashioned heat exhaustion, which is worrisome but less extreme, have body temps that max out at 102 degrees Fahrenheit, says Kupis. Touch a heat stroke patient, though, and you'll feel like you can fry an egg on their 105 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Forehead. Per the Mayo Clinic, as your temperature rises, your skin may flush red and your heart could start racing as your body tries to cool you down. 2. Your organs start to fail. That high body temp can shut down your key organs, too. Once you get to that point, your body temperature is so high you're basically frying your organs, says Kupis. The kidneys, the liver, the heart, the brain, all of them can be affected. One tip-off, you may spot red urine if your kidneys start to fail, says Kupis. 3. You're really confused, like really out of it. Changes in mental status, confusion, and delirium are a marker of heat stroke, says Kupis. Those changes are also major indicators that you've moved from heat exhaustion to a life-threatening heat stroke. Up to 70% of people who get up to that stage can die from it, he says. To make matters worse, by this point you won't be conversing well or thinking clearly enough to step out of the heat and get the help you need. So once you start to feel slightly woozy, move indoors ASAP. 4. You feel nauseated. Feeling queasy is one of the most common physical symptoms of heat exhaustion. But this and many other signs like feeling fatigued and vomiting and signal you're on your way to having a heat stroke, too. Heat exhaustion on its own is a serious condition, but if you recognize it early, get to a cool place and replenish lost fluids and electrolytes with sports drinks, you should start to feel better, says Kupis. The bottom line, heat stroke is a serious threat this time of year, especially for active people who regularly push themselves while they're out in the hot, thick air. Know the warning signs and take your workout inside when you need to. And if you spot someone who seems to be suffering from heat stroke, call 911, have them stop whatever activity they're doing, and assist them in cooling off. Sit them in the shade, in front of a fan, or even spray them with a garden hose, he suggests. Heat stroke needs to be rapidly cooled, however you can, says Kupis.